Hello there viewers and welcome back to another video today here on Gran Turismo Sports. So today you join us for round 5 of the Medway Racing League Group 3 100 mile series, and we are here at Monza and we're actually following on from the video from a couple of days ago where we did the sprint race, and this time around we've now got the feature race. Spoiler alert, the sprint race didn't go too well, to be honest. Made way too many mistakes, made a number of costly errors, so we finished down in P9 as a result. Because of that, we'll be starting 9th in the feature race. The feature race grid is basically the result of the sprint race, it's that simple. But for the feature race, got a standing start. And unlike normal, I've actually got a car that can do standing starts. I mean, well, I never. I've got the Corvette, which, yes, unlike the Toyota Supra, can do standing starts, and we're actually going to have a big advantage over the guys who are in the Supra here. So starting in P9, like I say, then at Monza, carnage at turn 1 is not inevitable, but highly likely. If I was a bookmaker, I would put very large odds on there being carnage at turn 1. So as we get away then, get a good start, and the ancient pleb in front of us does not move because he's in the Toyota Supra, and the Apex Magnet as well also doesn't move. So we're already up in 2P7 then. As we head down to turn 1, is everybody going to brake in time? Have a look at the radar. It is going to be clean. Well, I never. Turn 1 at Monza, not one person died. So, well, I mean, that's got to be a first, surely. I mean, has there ever been a clean Monza turn 1 with a grid start on GT Sport? I mean, that's got to be a first, surely. So we're in P6 then as we come out of the Curva Grande. Yeah, got a good start. Gone from 9th up to 6th place. Braking now for the Variante Della Roggia. If we have a look at the radar, is there going to be anyone come torpedoing in? No, there is not. I mean, come on, how has this managed to happen? Both chicanes clean at Monza on lap 1. This has gone remarkably well. Coming through Lesmo 1 now, Adam Tabron going to make a bit of a mistake as he goes off the circuit then into the gravel trap coming out of the first Lesmo. So we are now in 2P5. So this start gone very well indeed. We are gone from 9th place up into 5th, made up 4 spots just like that. So things are looking good. We're in the slipstream range as well of the guys in front, so we haven't even lost the slipstream to the guys in the lead. Heading through Ascari now, we are unfortunately going to get a little bit too greedy with the curb and going to pick ourselves up a 1 second penalty, and coming down now to the first chicane at the start of lap 2, going to try and serve it into the first chicane, but well, going to make a complete hash of it, to be honest, as we oh so nearly went into the back of Dimitar there. I started braking on time, but then for some stupid reason decided to lift off the brake pedal, and yeah, as a result, oh so nearly went into the back of Dimitar. That does now mean that we've lost the slipstream range to the guys in front. We were, only like 3/10 behind Dimitar going into that braking zone, but we're now out of the slipstream range, going down now into the second chicane. Going to have a look at the guys in front, and well, Dimitar going to have a bit of a brain fart, to be honest, as he goes off into the gravel trap and gets spat off to the right. I'm not quite sure how that happened, to be honest, because well, if you have a look back at it, he didn't really lose the back end or anything. He just went straight towards the gravel trap, just went through the corner, went straight for the gravel trap and got spat off to the right. So yeah, not quite sure how that managed to happen, but we're into 4th place. And we are ahead of the guys behind. We are out of the slipstream range of Adam Tabron behind us. So things are looking good right now. This penalty as well, as we come down into Ascari, we're going to get rid of half of that penalty, and come next lap that penalty will have gone. On this game, when you brake for Ascari, even when you brake like as late as you possibly can, the penalty still serves. You still get rid of 2/10 of your penalty. So yeah, getting rid of that penalty quite nicely now. Over the course of the next half a lap, we managed to keep up with the guys in front, because although they were pulling away from us on the straights with the slipstream, we were then getting back, catching back up to them through the corners because they were scrapping. Going into the Lesmos now, you've got JJ and Ryan in front of us fighting for position. So Ryan's just sent it up the inside of JJ into Lesmo 1, and now going through Lesmo 2. They are again side by side, so losing each other a lot of time here. Going side by side through the Lesmos really is not ideal. Not only do you lose a lot of time through the Lesmos themselves, but you then lose a lot of time on the straights afterwards as well, because you have a compromised exit. So what that means is that we're now within the slipstream range of the pack ahead of us, managed to catch up to them, and we got rid of the penalty. So things are looking really very well right now, as we're only 3.5 tenths behind JJ. The strategy, remember, for this race, it is an easy one stop, and you actually have choice over when you pit. So you can pit anywhere between lap 10 or lap 12. The fuel lasts more than 12 laps even in this Corvette. You've got JJ in front. He's looking to get back past Ryan. I don't think JJ was was too happy, to be honest, at being overtaken through the Lesmos, because it lost the two of them a lot of time and caused them to kind of get cut off from Kelvin in the lead. So JJ looking to get revenge, looking to get back past Ryan when he can, and we are in perfect position to capitalise on any fighting that may happen. So gaining on the two drivers here, we're going to pull over to the right. Are we going to be able to do a double overtake into the first chicane here? Oh, we are looking up the inside as Ryan exits stage left and flies off the circuit there. And yeah, Ryan made quite an error there, and we're going to go have a look at his onboards.
Oh, for God's sake, really? Again?
So that was a costly error there by Ryan going into the first chicane. I think he just got a bit spooked by JJ in front. JJ moved back over to the left to brake, and yeah, just spooked Ryan ever so slightly, and yeah, Ryan went flying off the circuit. So we're now up into P3 then in this race, going really well. We're on lap 4 and we've already gone from 9th place up into 3rd. Over the course of the next half a lap, I ever so slightly caught JJ up as he didn't have the slipstream, so he's 9/10 behind Kelvin at the moment, so he's not within the slipstream range of the leader. Going to be vulnerable now going down into the first turn. We are in his slipstream range, and he's just got himself dirty tyres by going over to the right. Not sure why he went over there, to be honest. So he's got dirty tyres. Going to brake now for turn 1. Are we going to be able to overtake him? We are hard on the brakes, but JJ, he's going to come swooping past us. He did a really good job there of fending off that position. He was very, very brave on the brakes, very late on the brakes, and cut across us in a very clean move, to be honest. So JJ is held on to 2nd place then for the time being, going through the Curva Grande. Going to give him a bit of a bump draft to begin with, because yeah, you don't want to go on the right hand side into the second chicane. Actually going to back off going into here, decided better of it, decided not to go for the move, but going through the chicane there, we're going to get a run on JJ. He clobbered the curve through the first part of the second chicane, and we are up his inside now into Lesmo 1, and we're going to make the move stick. So we are up into 2nd place now. JJ pulled out of that as soon as he realised that I had the inside for Lesmo 1. He just backed out, let me have the position. He realised there was no way he was going to hold on to that position. We are now 1.7 seconds behind Kelvin though, or 1.8 seconds now, so we're out of the slipstream range by quite a considerable margin. So me and JJ, we're going to need to work together here if we want to catch up Kelvin in front of us. We're going to have to bump draft, push each other along, and not fight, so that either of us can have a chance of winning this race. Unfortunately though, only 1 lap later, JJ made the same mistake again going through the second chicane, and he lost a lot of time to us and fell out of our slipstream range, and he actually, in the process of doing that, got overtaken by Adam Tebron. So yeah, 2 laps in a row, JJ made a right hash of that second chicane. As a result, Adam Tebron is now ahead of him in P3. They are 1.5 seconds behind us though, so we are clear of them. In terms of Kelvin, haven't really caught him up, haven't really fell behind either. Kelvin was driving really well in this race, putting in some really solid laps. I was really struggling to gain any ground on him, to be honest. I did gain a little bit of time on him, but then fell back again, so really struggling to keep up with him now as we come to the end of lap 10. So the pit window opens at the start of next lap, so we can pit in a lap's time and then try and do the undercut on people. But as we head up to turn 1 here, I'm just gonna pause the video here. So have a look on the left hand side, and you may notice that there's something missing. So you've got the 200 board there attached to the fence, but beneath it there is no braking board. There's no polystyrene board. And well, before I go any further, I'm just going to show you what happened. So we're on board with Dimitar now, down in 13th place after that crash that he had at the start, where he got spat out of the gravel trap in the slipstream range of MJK. I think tempers at this point were starting to flare. I think there was some argy-bargy going on at the back here. So heading up to the first corner, we've got MJK running Dimitar out of road, and well, Dimitar, he swiped over to the left, hit MJK off the circuit, and well, as MJK rejoins the circuit, he's going to send Dimitar punting off. End result is that there is no 200 meter board. It has gone flying, and well, the issue with that is that when I brake for turn 1, I don't read the numbers that it says on the boards, because I mean, you're going way too fast to be able to read them. I just brake just after the second board, so I look for the second marker board and brake just after it. And because there is no 200 meter board, because the first marker board is gone, what ended up happening as I press play here is I braked at the 100 meter board, and well, both me and Kelvin have now gone flying off the circuit at turn 1. And well, The result of that is that we have lost a considerable amount of time. That has been a really costly error by us, but fortunately we have at least managed to get away past Kelvin Comsall. In amidst all that, he lit up the rears when he got reset to the circuit, gave it too much throttle and got himself spat off to the right at turn 2. So we've at least managed to make our way past him, but we are now behind JJ and Adam Tebron, who's well, he managed to get himself into the lead of the race. Adam was miles behind early on in the race. I think on lap 1 he was down in like 8th or something. He was nowhere. So Adam's now into the lead of the race. Gonna have to try and make some of that time back up that we've lost there. Because of that mistake, I decided to switch to the undercut, decided to pit at the end of lap 10 and try and jump the guys in front. And well, as we come to enter the pits here, we've got Kelvin alongside us, but Kelvin does not want to pit, and we're going to have a bit of a fight here as I try and get into the pit lane. Kelvin didn't want to pit, I did, so had a bit of argy-bargy there, had to get my elbows out so that I could get into the pit lane, but we are now in it. Got 2 laps of fuel still remaining, so yeah. Going to fill the tank up and then we can just go flat out to the end of the race as we put a new set of super soft tyres on. To be honest, the tyre wear here at Monza, it is minimal. You're just driving along the straights the whole time, so we barely even need to change the tyres here, to be honest. As we top the tank up, we've also got one other driver who's pulled into the pit, so we've got Jake Beatty behind us. Had a similar idea, decided to try and undercut the people around him. Exiting the pits now, what is the gap to the guys in front? Just going to give it a few seconds, just wait for the gap to level out. It's going to be, what, 31, 32 seconds? So yes, 32 seconds then to the leaders in front. Towards the end of the outlap, it was now time for the guys ahead to make their pit stops as well. So as Adam pulls into the pits, the gap to him is still 32 seconds. So we haven't actually gained at all on the leaders on this outlap. We aren't really able to make these new tyres work. But Adam has pulled into the pits with only 3% of a tank left, which is, yeah, not a lot. He must have been over revving the Corvette, must have been giving it too many revs, because, well, there's no way you can have only 3% of a tank left whilst driving this car normally. He must have been giving it too many revs. But as we come up to the start finish line then, need to have a look on the right hand side to see if anyone's going to exit the pits. Is anybody going to, you know, pull a blinder on us? So coming out the pits then, we've got all the drivers exiting then. We've jumped Adam and we're gaining on Ryan, but we're going to make the same mistake again that we made on lap 10, and we're going to brake at the 100-meter board as we go torpedoing into turn 1. Oh, so nearly take out JJ the Hype and send those plastic barriers absolutely flying. Those plastic blocks went miles, and yeah, this is a massive facepalm moment. We made the same mistake 2 laps in a row basically. What happened there was, I did remember about the whole, 200-meter board no longer being there. I did remember it that time round, but I was too busy watching Ryan coming out the pit lanes. I was too busy watching all the other cars, making sure I wasn't going to hit them, that kind of thing. Paid no attention to the braking boards or anything. Had a brain fart, forgot about the 200-meter board, had a momentary forgetfulness, and yes, again, went cannonballing into turn 1, and we have now lost ourselves a huge amount of time. Each of those errors cost us 4 seconds, so 4 seconds apiece. We've lost 8 seconds in total, and I mean, if it wasn't for those mistakes, we almost certainly would have been in the lead by now, because Kelvin crashed out of the lead, and yeah, we probably would have been a good 2-3 seconds ahead by now, but instead we're down in 6th place. Really are kicking ourselves, considering we started 9th. I think I'm doing quite well. Started in P9, managed to get up to 2nd, would have been in the lead if it wasn't for that stupid mistake. Now though, we are down in P6, and well, we've got the ancient player behind us, and he's very much within our slipstream range. We don't have slipstream, so we are vulnerable here. So coming through the parabolica, need to get a good exit here so that we don't get overtaken down this straight. And well, the gap, it is tumbling. It's already down to 3/10, so this is not looking good here. By the time we get to this first chicane, it is going to be, well, looking quite sketchy. And well, he's gaining us more and more and more here, and you can see him now on the radar, the ancient player. He's pulling over to the right, and well, on the brakes, he's going to be able to get ahead of us using that Toyota Supra's superior brake. He's going to get ahead of us there. So we've gone down then to 6th place again. Went momentarily back up to 5th, then down to 6th as Sean pulled into the pit lane. Moving ahead to the end of this lap, coming out of the parabolica, we are firmly within the slipstream range of the ancient pleb in front. So are we going to be able to do a reverse on what he did to us last lap? Are we going to be able to slipstream our way past him? We're going to pull over to the right, and yes, going to blast our way past. I'm not going to work together with the ancient pleb right now. I want to go on a charge. I want to catch up the guys in front. If anything, he can bump draft me if he wants, but yeah, I'm not going to sit behind. I'm going on the attack here. So back up into P5 now. Over the course of the next couple of laps, me and the Ancient Pleb did indeed work together, so you can see him on the radar right now, bumped after me down the pit straight, so thank you very much for that. Going into turn 1, have a look ahead, as I think Kelvin makes the same mistake again with the braking boards. I don't quite know why that happened, but he went sailing off there at the first corner, went straight on and got reset. So that is Kelvin out of the race. Remember, Kelvin, who started from pole position, led the race. He's got the fastest lap of the race as well. He was, the best guy in this race. He was the fastest, and yet, yeah, things haven't really gone all too well for him now. Down in 7th place, having made a number of errors. So, mate, if you thought my race was going bad, his race is going even worse. Remember, the two of us were out in the lead earlier on the race. We were clear off into the distance, and now look, we're in 4th and 7th place. So things aren't going well. A couple of corners later, and we've actually managed to catch up Adam to run somewhat. I think he made a bit of a hash of the Ascari chicane, and we've also managed to break away from the guys behind. So in amongst all that melee of Kelvin going off, the Ancient Pleb also made a hash of the second chicane, and we have managed to break away from him as a result. So we're a second ahead of the Ancient Pleb now, and within the slipstream range of Adam to run. So gaining on him significantly now down this start finish straight. Surely we're not going to be able to go for a move into turn 1, way too far back to do that. I mean, Lewis Hamilton, I remember, did do a very good overtake here once. I think it was on Kimi Raikkonen. He did overtake him from miles back, but no, not going to be able to pull that off there. We are right behind him though, so we are going to possibly be within range going into the Variante della Roggia. Going through the curve of Grande, actually going to take this opportunity just to do a little bit of short shifting, save a little bit of fuel. We were a little bit marginal on the fuel at this point in time, and we're just going to give Adam a bump draft. Heading into the second chicane now, we have got some penalties built up. We did get a penalty through that first chicane, but Adam, he lost the back end there, going into the second chicane, and we've got to run on him now. Coming out of that second chicane, going into Lesmo 1, we are side by side, just going to nip the wall, but we have managed to make that move stick. So we are up into P3 then. Adam, yeah, going into the Variante della Roggia, just lost the back end. I think he may have had his brake bias a little bit too far to the back, either that or he just outbraked himself, and so yeah, managed to get past him there, out of that chicane on the run into Lesmo 1. Over the course of the next half a lap or so, we did manage to pull away from Adam somewhat. Basically, and on every straight, he was gaining on me, and then at every corner, I was pulling away from him. But as we come into Lesmo 2 here, going to get on the power ever so slightly too early, going to dip a wall into the gravel trap, and we're going to get spat off to the right there. So that is a really costly error for us there. We're going to have to go hard on the defence as we've got Adam on our radar now. We're side by side going down into Ascari, but we've got the inside line, and so Adam actually decided to back out there. Yeah, that was a really costly error there. That lost us a whole second. So I mean, we can wave goodbye to any thoughts of us beating the guys in front of us. Coming out of Ascari now, we've got Adam pulling alongside us, got a better exit than us out of Ascari, and we've got the Ancient Pleb catching us up. But fortunately, the Ancient Pleb is going to give us a bump draft, going to push us along. He's going to choose us to give a bump draft to. Now going into the Parabolica, I think we've got a slight tap there from the Ancient Pleb. We've got a little bit deep. Now we are vulnerable coming out of the Parabolica. We've got 2 guys right behind us, make that 3 guys right behind us actually, as the Apex Magnet is in shot as well. So we are really having to go on the defensive here now, going down into this first corner. Gonna keep over to the right here as we've got Adam pulling over to the left. Who is going to hit the brakes the latest? It is going to be Adam as he comes round the outside. Are we going to be able to hold on to our position? We are still side by side. Yes, we are. So we've just about managed to fend everybody off there. Had a whole swarm of cars on us, but we've managed to hold on to P3 at least for the time being. We have picked up some penalties along the way though, so we've got 1.6 seconds worth of penalties to burn and only 4 laps to get rid of them. Going down now into the second chicane, still got Adam to run right behind us. So yeah, we are very much on the defensive here, all because of that mistake out of Lesmo 2. If we hadn't made that mistake, probably would have got clear of these guys behind, but instead, yeah, very much having to fend everybody off as Adam also nearly goes into the back of us there, going through Lesmo 1. Is he going to go for the move into Ascari? Are we going to get a good exit of Lesmo 2 first? Yes, we are, so that was a decent exit there, but Adam's still very much in shot. He's on that radar there, so going to have to keep over to the left here. Or are we going to trust Adam? No, going to keep over to the left. Can't trust for him to not send it up my inside. And well, we've got the Ancient Pleb now up the inside of Adam to Bron, and that may actually come to our blessing. So if we have a look at the gap up in the top left hand side, is that gap going to go over 3/4 of a second? Yes, it is. Or ever so slightly right on the borderline? Yes, it is. So we've managed to break away then from Adam and the Ancient Pleb behind, due to the Ancient Pleb trying to go up Adam's inside into that corner there. there up into Ascari. So we have broken away then from the pack behind. Unfortunately though, almost as soon as that happened, Adam got back within our slipstream range via a bump draft from the Ancient Pleb, so he's now within the slipstream range at the start of lap 21, at the start of the penultimate lap, very much gaining on us now into the first chicane, very much having to look behind. Is he going to send it up our inside? Yes he is, and in fact he's going to massively outbrake himself into the first chicane. Is he going to wipe us out as he rejoins the circuit? No he's not, as he actually spins out. So that is the end of Adam to run then. Not sure if he got caught out by the 200-meter board like we did. May have done either that, he just completely missed his braking point. He went in way too hot there. So that has freed us from Adam. We've also got a gap now to the guys behind, so I think the Ancient Pleb had to avoid Adam as he came flying back onto the circuit there. So the Ancient Pleb is now 1.2 seconds behind us. But he has got Kelvin right behind him, bump drafting him along. So this is not necessarily the end of it. We've got to keep out an eye out for the Ancient Pleb, and we've also still got 1 second's worth of penalties left at the moment on the penultimate lap of the race. So we're going to have to be quite efficient, let's say, in getting rid of our penalties. We don't want the guys behind to get within our slipstream range, but we also have to get rid of these penalties ASAP. So go down into Ascari now. I'm going to brake early, try and scrub off some of these penalties. So how much are we going to scrub off? We're going to scrub off what, 4 attempts worth of our penalties, but because of that, because I braked early, kind of lost my rhythm a bit. We've run wide there coming out of Ascari, and that has allowed the Ancient Pleb to get back within this flaming slipstream range that we keep on banging on about. He's back within it, so no sooner have I got away from the guys behind, but they're back within that range again, and as soon as you get onto the next straight, they just catch you straight back up. They're right back behind you. This is the problem with Monza. If you're not in slipstream yourself and the guys behind are, you've got no chance. They're just going to gain so much on you on the straights. You can be as quick as you like through the corners. They're just going to catch you back up on the next straight. So going down to turn 1 on this final lap of the race, are we going to be able to fend off the Ancient Pleb? He decided not to go for the move into turn 1 there, fended him off. I tried to serve some of my penalty. I did brake early, but no, the penalty will not go. So still got 6 tenths worth of penalty to fend off here, to get rid of. This is going to be really difficult here to get rid of that penalty whilst also fending off the Ancient Pleb. He is right on my tail, so this is going to be a very, very tricky final lap here. We're also marginal on fuel, so things really aren't. This is going to be a really tough final lap. Going into the second chicane now, we missed our apex slightly through there, but managed to fend him off with that second chicane. As long as the person doesn't overtake you on entry, then you're pretty much fine, and as long as you don't make a hash of the exit, then they also won't get past you into the Lesmos. Going into Lesmo 2, not really an overtaking spot, although the Ancient Pleb is right behind us. Still got 6 tenths worth of penalty remaining as well, so this is really not looking good, as he is right on our back bumper now. Going through the curve at Del Seraglio, we are going to keep hard over to the left here, making sure that no one can send it up our inside, and that we can also brake early and try and burn off this penalty. We've still got 4 tenths of penalty left. This is really not looking good, as we managed to fend off the Ancient Pleb into the Ascari chicane there. Going down the back straight, going down towards Parabolica. He's in our slipstream range, so still very much need to keep an eye on him. Going to keep hard over to the right. Don't want him to go up my inside. He is not coming up my inside, and he's now on our outside going through the Parabolica. There's a slight amount of contact as we turned in on one another there through Parabolica, and coming up to the start finish line then, am I going to be able to get rid of this penalty in time? As we slam off the brakes and come across the line, we're going to beat the Ancient Pleb by 0.03 seconds there. What an ending that was to an absolutely epic race, in my opinion. That race was non-stop action. I've barely cut out any of the race here. This video is 23 minutes long, covering a 39-minute long race. That was action-packed. I didn't cut anything more than about a lap out of that race there. It was just non-stop overtaking, slipstreaming, mistakes, quite a few mistakes unfortunately. That was a superb race, just about by the skin of my teeth. Kept the podium there, finished third after starting 9th on the grid and getting reset twice at the first chicane. Still somehow managed to finish on the podium and managed to burn off all those penalties too along the way. So really happy with that drive. Ryan ended up taking the victory, even though he got reset earlier in the race, so that goes to show you just how chaotic a race it was, and he beat JJ the Hype by the tiniest of margins. He beat him by less than half a tenth of a second. So brilliant driving all around there. What a race that was. Next up, we've got Spa in the wet. So yeah, round 6, that's going to be in the next video. Got Spa in the wet, something I really enjoy. I say Spa in the wet, qualifying and the sprint race is in the wet, but the feature race is in the dry, and we've never done that before in MRL, where you have a change of conditions between the two races. So that's going to make for some very interesting racing, and yeah, going to be a real challenge. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that video. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you all then. So goodbye.